Hey guys, I want to dedicate one episode to traveling by trains in China. Why, you might want to ask? Well, simply because it has changed so much over the last years, and it has also made an aviation enthusiast like me to choose the train for many trips. There are many different types of trains in China, but mainly they can be grouped into the conventional ones and the high speed trains. The high-speed rail network has pretty much been built over the last 15 years and is now by far the largest network compared to any other country. When you purchase a train ticket, it is mostly done online and you need an ID. The train ticket is directly associated to your ID number. This was introduced many years ago to avoid a black market for train tickets. A few years ago, you had to go to the train station, show your ID, and you will be given your ticket. But for many years, this physical train ticket doesn't really exist anymore. When you get on the train, you just need to show your ID. The machine scans your ID and it realizes that a train ticket has been booked with this ID number, and then you'll be let on board. Simple as that. And it doesn't make a difference whether you're boarding a train at a huge train station in Shanghai or just at some rural places. It's always the same procedure. So, let me give you an introduction of how taking a train in China is like. The first thing you will notice when you get to a train station in China is that you cannot just walk in. You can only get in when you have a valid train ticket, and of course they will check that by taking a look at your ID. And then you will have to go through security. It's not as strict as airport security, but somewhat similar. Most Chinese railway stations are designed in the same way. You get in, you have to go upstairs because the waiting area is above the railway tracks. Then you go downstairs to go on the train. When you arrive at a railway station, you exit from an underground tunnel. This way, the inbound and outbound passengers are separated. And you have to wait in the waiting area until your train is called, about 10 to 15 or 20 minutes before departure. And only then are you allowed to go on the platform. And again, you have to present your ID in order to go through the gates so that they know that you're booked on this train. Sometimes there are also lounges for business class passengers, which is the highest class on board high-speed trains. Once you're on the platform, there are signs showing you where which car will stop. So you can already move to the right place based on the ticket that you have. And of course, everyone has their assigned seat. You're not supposed to switch your seat on your own, but that is mostly due to the COVID restrictions. The larger cities have huge railway stations, and this is Shanghai Hongqiao railway station, and I don't really know how many tracks there are, but many. Now, this is going to be where you will see a difference between conventional trains and high-speed trains. Conventional trains have a locomotive and powerless cars. And high-speed trains consist of a whole train set where the power is distributed over the entire train. Conventional trains typically have three classes. The lowest one is the hard seater, where there are 5 seats in a row and you just sit there. There's the hard sleeper that consists of open compartments with 6 beds on 3 different levels. There are also newer trains where you have a bit more privacy in the hard sleeper. And the soft sleeper has closed compartments with 4 beds each. Conventional trains can have a speed of up to 160 kilometers per hour. They're also rather low in price. Even a soft sleeper is cheaper than a second-class seat on a high-speed train. High-speed trains can reach up to 350 kilometers per hour. Trains on the same route can have different journey times due to different number of stops in between. If you're traveling between 2 big cities, typically there are a few trains every day with very little amount of stops, giving you the best journey time. There are typically 3 classes on high-speed trains. The lowest one is the second-class seat with 5 seats in each row. First class only has 4 seats in each row and also a larger pitch and an increased recline. Typically on a high-speed train, I would say more than 2/3 of the capacity is allocated for second class, and the remaining ones are for first class and business class. The business class is particularly impressive. It features individual seats that can be converted into a fully flat bed. The hardware is definitely comparable to long-haul business classes on airplanes. There's also a dedicated staff taking care of just the business class passengers. And you will get some snacks and a bottle of water for free. There's high-speed Wi-Fi throughout the entire train. You can order food from the dining car. And you can also order food from participating restaurants at the next stops of the train. You can do that very easily using an app, and there are deadlines depending on the schedule of your train. The restaurant staff will deliver it to the platform where it will be collected by the staff on board of the train, and they will deliver that directly to your seat. Passengers on Chinese high-speed trains are all sitting facing the direction of the train. This can be achieved by turning the entire seat row. This is done for all classes, even for the huge seats in business class. I believe it's the same for trains in Japan as well. There's a very stable Wi-Fi connection on all of the trains, and all of the rides I've taken, they all arrived on time. Some of them even arrived a few minutes earlier than scheduled. I really have to admit that the German railways is just far behind compared to this. And if you really want to make people switching from airplanes to trains to reduce their CO2 emissions, this is where you should look to. You need to build tracks to allow for the high speed. You need to offer comfortable and reliable service. You need to provide high frequencies to really make it an attractive alternative to taking your own car or taking a flight. It's not like we don't have the technology in Germany. As you can see, the trains here definitely have German DNA. It's the willingness to get things done. I hope I was able to give you a good impression of railways in China. See you next time. Bye-bye.